chapter 28. And look at what I found for you guys. How funny is this? Look at this. It's a little garden stake. And look how much it looks like Seraphina. Can you guys see it? I'm trying to get it so you can see it real good. See it, look up against the book. It's the same shape as Seraphina. Isn't that funny? Anyway, okay, let's get started on chapter 28. The woman did not answer the question. She rubbed her eyes and face with the back of her hands. Then she looked around, glassy-eyed, taken in the forest and the angel's glade, as if she did not understand what she was seeing or how she came to be there. The woman stumbled through the opening of the lion's den. The woman went to the mouth of the den and looked in. "Where are my babies? Where are my babies?" she asked frantically. She appeared to think her babies were in there. Seraphina felt so sorry for her. The poor creature must have lost her mind in the imprisonment of the cloak. Worried that the lioness would attack the woman, Seraphina reached to pull her out of harm's way. But then the woman made a series of sharp, guttural hissing noises, and the lion cubs came trundling out of the den in response to her call. Laughing, the woman dropped down onto her knees and encircled the cubs in her arms as they rubbed their shoulders against her, purring. Seraphina cringed, expecting the mountain lion to come charging out of the den at any moment. But when she checked the den, there was no sign of the mother lion. Seraphina scanned the trees nervously. The woman, still on her knees with the cubs, lifted her hands and looked at the palms as if they were things of amazement, opening and closing her fingers repeatedly, and then she smiled. She rubbed her arms and her head and brushed back her hair like a person who had woken up from a terrible nightmare and had to reassure herself that she was still in one piece. She stood and looked up at the night sky and took a long, deep breath. Then she turned rapidly around, holding Nolan's jacket to her body. She laughed. She tilted her head back and shouted up at the stars, "I'm free!" Still smiling, the woman looked around at her surroundings with a new brightness in her eyes. She looked at the graveyard, the stone angel, and the other victims. Then she looked at Seraphina. The woman froze. She stopped smiling. She stopped moving. She just stared at Seraphina. Seraphina's heart began pounding in her chest, a slow, steady rhythm. "Why are you looking at me like that?" Suddenly, the woman lunged at her with a startling burst of speed. Seraphina leapt back to defend herself, but the woman caught her with ease and held her by the shoulders, looking into her face. "You're her," the woman said in astonishment. "You're really her. I can't believe it. Look at you." I don't understand," Seraphina stammered, trying to pull away. "What's your name, child?" the woman asked. "Tell me your name." "Seraphina," she mumbled, staring wild-eyed at the woman. "Let me look at you," the woman said, turning her first one way and then another, as if to take her measure in every way. "Just look at you. You're so big. How wonderful you are. You're amazing." Seraphina reeled with dizziness as a new wave of confusion swept through her. What in heaven's name was this woman doing? "Who are you?" Seraphina asked again. The woman paused and looked at her with compassion. "Oh, I'm sorry," she said gently. "I forgot that you don't know me. My name is Leandra." The name meant nothing to Seraphina, but the woman's eyes, her voice, her face, everything about her mesmerized her. Seraphina felt like sparks of a crackling fire were popping in her mind. "But who are you?" Seraphina asked again, clenching her fists in frustration. "You know who I am," Leandra said, studying her. "No, I don't," Seraphina shouted, stomping her foot. "I'm your mother, Seraphina," the woman said softly, reaching out and touching Seraphina's face for the first time. Seraphina went quiet and still. She frowned in confusion. How could this be possible? She studied the woman's face, trying to make sense of its configuration, trying to understand if she could believe what she was seeing in front of her. Her mouth felt terribly dry. She licked her lips and then clenched them together, breathing through her nose. She tried to steady her breathing as she looked at the woman's hair, her hands, her sinewy body. But it was her eyes more than anything, her yellow eyes, that told her that it was true. This was her mother. Seraphina felt her face flash with heat. Suddenly, the image of her mother blurred as the tears welled in her eyes and brimmed over. She released a sigh that turned into a sob, and then heaving sobs that she couldn't control. And her mother reached for her and pulled her into her arms. "Oh, kitten, it's all right," her mother said, as her own sobs rolled against Seraphina. When Seraphina finally spoke, her voice was so weak with emotion that she could only imagine one frail and breathless word. "How?" she said. And that is the end of chapter 28. And we'll start back up again on chapter 29. Okay? Bye.